The DJI Avata was my first FPV drone, and like many others, I started out with the motion controller that comes standard with the package. The motion controller felt very limiting, so I thought it was time for a change. There was only one option left. I bought the FPV2 remote. If you follow my channel, you'll know the struggles I've had with learning manual mode. I thought I was ready to fly, but my own flying proved me wrong. After 3 months of consistent practice outside and in simulators, I eventually got 10 successful flights in a row in full manual mode. They weren't the craziest flights, but it was good enough to build my confidence each time I flew, and now I don't enjoy flying in normal or sport mode. It's all manual. Recently I saw my motion controller untouched, losing battery life, and decided to test it out again if I like it or not.
Naturally, it's a bit windy out today. I had to put a rock there, but I just want to start out this video by saying thank you guys so much for following along on my YouTube channel with my DJI Avata. It's my first FPV drone and had some ups and downs, but overall the support's been really good and I just want to say thank you. We're gonna throw it back today and hopefully use this motion controller. I'm gonna reconnect it to this drone and I'm just gonna make sure that's a simple process, but I'm gonna compare the motion controller versus the regular remote controller. And the remote controller is when I really ran into some issues. It flies like no other DJI drone, as in you have full control in manual mode. Sport mode and normal mode on the FPV remote's okay, but that's not what you get the FPV remote for. It's all about the full manual fun. And overall, I found my style that I like. I just like cinematic stuff. I'm not much into tricks and whatnot. I just want to show off my beautiful state of Alaska, especially Kodiak Island here, in a different way, and the manual mode FPV remote gives me a totally different experience in Alaska. First thing I want to do is just see how easy it is to connect. I'm going to turn it on. It's probably gonna beep at me if I remember correctly. It's been a while. See if it's something you can switch in and out in the real field. Let's open up the DJI app. Oh. Huh, it's already connected. And the last thing I flew was the FPV remote. Let's get a flight in with the motion controller and then switch to the FPV remote and see if it's something you can alternate back and forth with, because there are some cool scenarios with this remote that is nice. I really do appreciate the fact that it's got the motion controller circle right in the middle. Found it a lot easier to hit gaps with the motion controller than with an FPV remote. The sun is currently on its way down and I'm just out of the proper exposure, but I think it should be okay for this. It's gonna be a little overexposed. Now let's see how good we are with this thing after not using it for about 2 or 3 months now. So let's go ahead and get it going. Forgot you gotta hold the lock button. Okay. I'm just gonna remember how to turn. It's a little different. And I got the arrow along with the motion controller circle, which is throwing me off just a little bit, but let's just see. Make sure I can accelerate and decelerate and get high and low again. One thing I forgot is you can't dive with this thing. You have to look down and just slowly, very slowly go back. Got to point up. I definitely feel like I can get closer to the ground because I can see where I'm going a little bit. Pretty windy right now, so. What's cool with this controller is you can maybe just get like just different perspectives of small things. Maybe fly around your house a little bit differently. I've flown around my house with the regular control and it feels okay. But this, I mean, it feels good. I remember it took me about like a couple hours of practice in a simulator where the regular FPV remote took quite some time. Just fly along the beach here. Yeah, it's a little overexposed, by the way. Motion controller is great for these low flying shots where you're just kind of going straight. But I will say I'm not as comfortable as I used to be with this thing as I get pretty close to the ground. I mean, I'm constantly seeing 4 feet. I'm gonna raise up just a little bit. It is windy. One swift wind could throw me into the ground. And I forgot I'm not even in sport mode, I'm in normal mode. The drone is kind of fighting me. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty windy right now for this drone. All right, so as I bring this thing back home, I'm gonna say I am not a fan of the motion controller anymore. I think if I got a couple more hours of practice in, but I don't think it's something you can alternate back and forth with. See if I can remember how to land here. I definitely have a more accurate landing with the motion controller. Although it seamlessly went back to the motion controller without having to reconnect, I wasn't a fan of flying with that thing. I've definitely gotten a better understanding of manual mode, and that's really what I prefer with the controller. I think drones are meant to be flown with a controller versus something like this, but I think it's not bad. I remember when I first got it, I thought it was really cool. And it's definitely a lot easier, less learning curve than the FPV. Let me get that real quick here. Once you get good with this, there's no going back. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna turn this off, and let's turn this on. Let's see if that just automatically connects. It automatically connects, guys. No issues. Pretty good to know that if you do want to switch between this and the motion controller, you totally can, because I didn't have to turn a drone off, didn't have to do anything fancy. It just works. I'm going to either put ND filter on or wait for a little bit better lighting and get some more footage for you guys with this remote. It is very windy. You can see the lenticular clouds behind me. I thought to myself I was missing the motion controller because I haven't used it in a while. This is definitely my winner in my opinion.
It got pretty windy, so I wanted to share some recent footage from the past few weeks I captured with the DJI Avata in full manual mode.
So I just finished off a battery on this drone with this controller. I'm a little tucked in right now, but out there, it is so windy by the water. The drone is supposed to be flying straight, and I could tell it's just pushing it way off to the right. I have to fly at max throttle, and I probably was only going like 25 miles an hour. Flying away from the wind, I did okay. It was flying back into the wind. The drone was really struggling. So with that being said, I'm not going to fly another battery. To sum up this video, I just wanted to see if I will enjoy the motion controller again. It was just sitting on my shelf and I haven't used it
and I thought I do like that it has a little circle in it, kind of like that thing right there where you can see where you're going. But honestly, I don't. I prefer this controller in manual mode. I think this controller can do normal mode pretty cool for like flying around your house. If you're gonna use normal mode or sport mode, they're both pretty similar, but I'm all about the manual mode, and I don't really do tricks or flips or anything like that, but I enjoy going at 50, 60 miles an hour, whatever I can get to, and just kind of diving through trees and stuff to show off Alaska in a different perspective. In filming this video, I found it was pretty cool that whether you do want to switch between this and this, if you have them both, you can seamlessly do that. Bluetooth or whatever the connectivity is that connects the remotes to the drone and the goggles works pretty good. You just got to turn one off, turn the other one back on, and it's ready to go. I'm curious to know what you prefer, the motion controller or the regular controller, manual mode, normal mode, sport mode, whatever it is. I encourage you to write it in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing your perspectives on the DJI Avata and what you like to use it for. If you are interested in getting this DJI FPV remote, click this video up here. You can learn from 5 mistakes that I made with this remote, especially in manual mode, and hopefully avoid some of the frustrations that I've had. That's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.